it seems like over the last couple of weeks, something's just been a little bit off with Dak. He's not nearly the same player, it doesn't seem, that he was before the bye week. Is he 100% healthy?
Yes. The thing that you're seeing is sometimes the pass that looks errant is because the receiver, for instance, ran the route 2 yards, cut it off 2 yards shorter. He should be out 2 more yards before he makes his cuts. It can make all the difference in the world as far as his ability to separate. It has a relativeness to the other receivers. And so if you're not really crisp on the way the play was designed relative to how many yards you go, the cut, then your passing game can look really off. And that's one of the answers, better routes.
Jerry, what's the plan for Coach McCarthy getting back in the building around the guys, and what has it been like for Mike being away with what he's been dealing with?
Well, we all have become dangerous experts on the COVID thing in terms of, and we all are realizing that we don't know. We have a normal, unless you are testing negative, then you have a 10-day period of time that you stay quarantined, unless you have beaten the norm and have tested, let's say at 6 days, you start getting you 3 tests that are negative. That hadn't happened for him, so it looks like he'll go the full 10 days of quarantine.
Jerry Jones, every Tuesday with Shan and RJ, brought to you by Ford here on 105.3 The Fan. Let's talk about how excited you are to get Randy Gregory, Gallimore, Tank to go along with Micah as your pass rushers. You've been talking about this for a few weeks now, that help is on the way. Where do we stand for the Washington game with your guys up front, Jerry?
I'm going to freeze it in time as far as this season is concerned, when all 3 of them are out there at the same time. And all 3 of them have a play where they've, quote, got their hands down, but all 3 of them are in a pressure call or a pressure situation on defense. That's going to be one that I want a picture of, and I want to freeze it for a long time. Have all 3 of them pressure.
Would Micah be coming through the A-gap on that, in that dream that you have, that freeze frame picture, or would he be on the outside?
I may have switched him with Diggs. He may be back there covering the out route. He can go anywhere. He can go anywhere. As the old boy says, he can go anywhere he want to go.
That means.
And so the point is that I'd like to see, my example was pressure. So he'd be in a pressure situation. He has answered one question that I was curious about when we drafted him, and that is, could he do some pressure in the middle and play there in the middle in pro football? We saw him do it when he was in college. Well, he can. And he uses that good and unique to get his pressure in the middle as well. So moving him around is the ticket. We've especially when you're sitting here picturing Gregory and you're picturing the Lawrence out there. Now the good news is that Lawrence, Gregory, they can be down and inside, and so those give you a lot of options relative to Micah being outside and down.
Jerry, we're trying to understand what was going on with the running back usage here as of late. We know how much you love Tony Pollard. He's been amazing these past 2 weeks as a game breaker. And with Zeke laboring a little bit, I've been saying, why not more Pollard touches? It seems like Zeke is being force-fed a little bit. Just run Pollard more to the outside because he can break them like that. What do you say to that in terms of Zeke and Tony Pollard in the run game?
Well, without seriously buying into that you have as limited as Zeke as you might be implying, we've had going into games relative to this time last year or even relative to the start of the season. We've had or planned on having Pollard touch the ball anywhere from 5 to 10 more times a game.
Mm.
So that is the plan, and that is generally what you're trying to do, and you just see how the game goes. But we've frankly ever since training camp been wanting to, relative to what we've done in the past, get the ball to Pollard more.
Does money
That's
ever?
not necessarily because of Zeke. That's not necessarily because of Zeke. We just want him to have the ball more.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That kick return that we made back against
Raiders.
I've forgotten what 2 games ago. The kick return that he made there will get you all the attention that you need as far as you'd like for him touching that ball and you kicking it.
Jerry, does money or contract ever kind of dictate who's getting, a start or the preferred touches in a situation like this?
No, not at this juncture. You want every play to have your best out there.
Jerry, where do things stand for you guys at right tackle heading into this game?
Oh, I think it's the best we've been all year. You've got an improved Collins. You've got a Steele that we know and are very confident that he can play at the right tackle, just play well there. And so in doing so, we will use the fact that we've got Collins at his best this year. We've got Steele. We'll use that as one of or a way to help our running game. We will do that. And what that lets us do relative to any other formations that we want to use a big guy in that normally you'd have a tight end there, that'll help us out.
Can you tell us who the starter currently is over there?
I don't look at that. Both of them will play a lot. And I don't have. You don't have to look at that. And Collins and Steele both are the same player, whether they're the first one out there or not.
Jerry Jones here on 105.3 The Fan. I think we've been spoiled around here with this offensive line for a long time, and you've invested a lot. That's been one of our concerns. We know you've been dealing with injuries and guys in and out, suspensions. Have you been a little bit underwhelmed or a little bit disappointed, Jerry, with the offensive line play overall? You being an offensive line guy, given all the assets and what we're used to around here in terms of pass blocking and run blocking.
Yeah, well, defenses have understood for quite a while now this year that get in there and do everything you can to mitigate our run game. And plus we've played some top defensive lines. And so you got to take into account the strategies and who you're playing across from. And so frankly, we've had a lot of practice here against some good defensive lines. And that'll pay off for us in the next 5 ball games in the playoffs. We've this exercise of adjusting, working on combinations, emphasizing the negatives. If you live to tell about it, there's no question getting knocked down or having to recover. If you can come on out and live to tell about it, it's a plus, not a minus. And so we've had a lot of reps. All of them haven't gone the way we want them to go. And literally in the offensive line, if you grade it, you easily can have 3 or 4 of your 5 offensive linemen do outstanding. One have a less snap than he normally does, and the results are the same. You're stopped. And so what you want is a consistency, and you want to really work to stop having individual breakdowns. It's the same effect, really, on a missed assignment or a getting beat with one of your offensive line. It's the same effect as a penalty. And you get that one miss, that stops you short, gets you starting from zero again. It's almost the same thing as getting a penalty.